Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Scout YouTube channel. It is match day 4 time for Club World Cup Fantasy, of course, which is fantastic because obviously match day 3 I played my wild card. I went in on Boca. That didn't really work. The Boca drew ended up drawing 1-1 with Auckland. It was a bit of a disaster. So it'd be nice to get them Boca players out and nice to start fresh, obviously going into the knockout stages of the Club World Cup. But of course, before we get into the video, if you could help the channel by chopping a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, massively helps the channel, helps it boost it in the algorithm. Let other people who also enjoy Club World Cup Fantasy find out this content. And also as well, if you do want any tips basically for your Club World Cup Fantasy team, I would head over to the Fantasy Football Scout website. It's a fantastic tool, and a lot of my tips in this video come from the Fantasy Football Scout website. But you've also got stuff there like team reveals. You've also got predicted lineups. You name it, it's probably there, people. So yeah, definitely go check that out. But yeah, let's get into the video, shall we? And let's start before we get into it Let's have a look at the knockouts. That's what we need to do. Let's have a look at the knockouts. The first game, we've got Palmeiras versus Botafogo. Then we've got Benfica versus Chelsea. Then we've got Inter Milan versus Fluminense. Then we've got Man City versus Al Hilal. We've got PSG versus Flamengo. PSG versus Inter Miami, should I say. Flamengo versus Bayern Munich. Dortmund versus Montreal. And Real Madrid versus Juventus. So some really spicy fixtures. But something to bear in mind in this that I think is really important is the left-hand side of the draw, the side with Chelsea, Inter Milan, etc., Man City on, for me, looks an easier side of the draw. I think that's something massively to bear in mind. In terms of the fixtures, I think they just look easier. Like Man City's road to the final, you're looking at probably, obviously, they've got Al Hilal in the first game. You'd expect them to win that. Then they've got Inter Milan in the quarterfinal, Chelsea potentially in the semi-final, and then obviously they've been in the final. Whereas on the other side, if you look at PSG's run, for example, it'll obviously got Inter Miami, which is a really nice fixture, but then they've got Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals. And then probably Real Madrid in the semi-final as well. So much trickier run on the right-hand side, I think, than the left-hand side. So if you're a Chelsea fan or you're a Man City fan, etc., I think you're in a good spot, people. I think you are in a good spot getting on that side of the draw. That is where I think the winner potentially will come from, unless it's PSG, just because that other side of the fixture or that other side of the draw might burn themselves out with the sort of games that they had. In terms of fixtures to target, the PSG one, I think, even though I've mentioned the right-hand side being harder, that looks like an absolutely outstanding fixture. I think they're the favourites over any team in this tie. You've also got Dortmund versus Montreal, which I really like. I think that's a really sort of strong tie. Man City versus Al Hilal, another really strong tie. There's also some picks from Palmeiras and Botafogo, but I think that's quite a close-knit game. I think Palmeiras, according to the bookies and statistics, are probably 60% chance of winning that game. Obviously, you'd expect Chelsea to go through against Benfica, but again, Benfica are a pretty good team, as we know. Di Maria, Pavlidis, etc. The list goes on. It's not a bad team there, so that'll be another challenging fixture. I think Inter Milan's quite a good game as well. So yeah, some good picks to go for, but you've got to be bearing in mind that obviously unless you've got a wild card left, you're probably going to need to. Be careful of where the team are going to play in the next game. So I wouldn't go with FOUR Bayern Munich when they're going to play PSG in the quarterfinal, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that is the situation of the groups. But yeah, let's get on to my team, shall we, and get on to my picks. So as you can see, we've currently got a blank team on the right-hand side, and I'm going to start with the goalkeepers, start filling out this team. So my goalkeepers, quite a high price point, to be honest with you. However, I think this is going to be the theme of the video. Obviously, the price has gone up now. As you can see at the top there, you now get 105 million. You get the extra 5 million, which is obviously an absolute necessity when it comes to picking your players for the knockout stages. So my first goalkeeper, wherever he is, let me add him in, is Sanchez. Yeah, Sanchez makes up my first pick. Robert Sanchez of Chelsea. Now, a few things to mention with Sanchez that I like. As I said, when in the last draw, I like their fixtures through. I think they're not too bad. They're obviously going to looks like they're going to play Benfica. If they get through that, it will be Palmeiras or Botafogo, which I think is two really good opportunities there for a clean sheet. Obviously, in the semi-final, they're probably going to play Man City, but let's be honest, you're not really going to get that many players in the semi-final with an absolutely outstanding fixture. But yeah, two decent fixtures there, and only 5.3 million. I did want to start Chelsea defence. I didn't know where the best place to go in terms of. I don't think any of their defenders are completely nailed. Maresca has liked to rotate quite heavily, so I've ended up with Sanchez. But yeah, my second goalkeeper, let's put him in now, is Ederson. Now, people are going to question this pick. The few reasons I've got for this. Number one is that I like the game against Al Hilal. Number two, I like the side of the draw they're on. And number three, which I didn't mention at the start, which potentially I should have done, is that this week I will be playing my Qualification Booster chip. Now, that is really important because every single player that I need that plays this week, all my starting 11 players, I will need to ensure that they go through this round so I get them extra 2 points. Because if they don't go through, you don't get the 2 points. So I'm targeting basically my whole squad as games that I actually think are going to win and get through the tie to obviously maximise that chip and get the most amount of points, which of course is 22. If you get 11 doubled, that is of course 22. So yeah, that is the thing I'm targeting. And I really do like Ederson's fixtures. The other thing with Ederson as well is I wanted Man City players because that runs to final looks pretty good for me. And when I look through the Man City defence, which I do want some coverage for, I'm not quite sure who has got the best, in my opinion, fixtures, who's got the best chance of playing. I think none of them are completely nailed. So I have ended up with Ederson in goal. Moving on to the defence then. First defender I have gone for is an expensive one, as you can imagine. There will be some expensive picks in there, wherever he is. Hakimi. Yeah, Hakimi makes up my first pick. 14 point in the last game. I do think he is the best defender in this game, to be honest. I think he's the best defender. 6.5 million, so you're paying for it. But as I said, I do think he is a really good option to go for. As I said, 14 point in the game in the most recent tie as well against Seattle Sounders. So yeah, he makes my first pick. My second pick is another PSG player, and that is, of course, Nuno Mendes. Yep, Nuno Mendes makes up my second pick for Club World Cup Fantasy round 16. So again, I just like the double defence. My target when I was looking at this, I was looking at the best fixture of the tournament. And it is that Inter Miami game. I think that is the best one. Yes, they could. Messi could notch, or Suarez could notch and kill that clean sheet. But I think the upside of the attacking threat you get from the PSG guys, and also obviously the really good defensive coverage as well. They did keep 2 clean sheets in the first 3 games, and that did include obviously Atletico Madrid as well. My third pick in defence is, where is he now? Stannisic. Yep, he makes up my third pick. 4.9 million, has started every single game for Bayern Munich so far. I do want a bit of Bayern Munich coverage, not tons, but I do want a bit of it, and I wanted a piece of that defence. And because he started all 3 games, I think he's probably the pick to go for. As I said, he's only 4.9 million as well, which seems like a bit of a bargain compared to the price points you're paying for like Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, etc. He does seem like a bit of a bargain price point, so he makes it in from Bayern Munich as well. Although he is a player that potentially come match day could actually change out this team, but I don't mind him. I think he's a really decent option. My next pick in defence is Stenson. Now, I actually watched the Dortmund game, the most recent fixture that they played. And he is so unbelievably attacking. Obviously, scored in that game, but had a number of other chances as well. He's always in and around that penalty area. And I know he's 5.3 million, and you could look at racing at 4.9 million, but I think for the extra attacking threat, you get some Stenson. He's just a really, really good pick. And especially against the game that they've obviously got Montreal FC, obviously the Mexican team. That looks like an absolute banker fixture to get through. So you're going to get them extra 2 points. But so he makes up, as I said, he makes up my fourth pick. My final defender, and this is something slightly different potentially to where other people are going, because I do want some coverage from this team, and when I can find him. There we are, Darmian. Yeah, Darmian makes up my 5th pick in defence. Now, there's a few reasons for Darmian. 5.3 million, so 1 whole million cheaper than Dumfries. If I had the extra million, I'd probably go for Dumfries for that attacking threat. But Darmian, I think, as I said, $1 million less. The other thing with Darmian, he's currently 0.5% owned. So you potentially, against that, in the nice fixture they've got against Fluminense, you could easily see a clean sheet and that scouting bonus point, which should obviously take him to 9 points, which would be a nice score for someone that is only valued at 5.3 million. And again, I do want a slight bit of Inter Milan coverage. I couldn't quite afford Dumfries at that 6.3 million price point. So Darmian, Yes, he doesn't offer that attacking threat that Dumfries offer, but he does offer, on the contrary, that's that scouting bonus, obviously, as well. So I think he makes up a really solid pick as my 5th defender. Moving on to midfield then. My first midfielder is Michael Eliseu. Now, tore it up against Auckland. Played a bit part role, obviously, in the second game, and basically didn't play at all in the third game. He's going to be back. He's going to be fresh. They've got a pretty decent fixture, in my opinion. Dortmund, obviously, against Flamengo there, as you can see. So yeah, I think he's a really strong option, Eliseu. There is a shout for Musiala. He's going to be lower ownership, because the one thing with Eliseu to bear in mind is you're not going to get any scouting bonus there. But I just think you need Eliseu. He's a captaincy option as well. I probably won't captain him in this game, and I'll explain why in a few moments. You can probably guess why. But yeah, as I said, I think he's the best midfielder from Bayern Munich. He was also the highest scoring player in Bundesliga Fantasy this year as well. So as you can see, the pedigree is there. Moving on to my next midfielder then, and that is Kvaratskhelia. Now, obviously scored in the first game against Atletico Madrid. Failed when I played him as a 12th man in the second game, and then against Seattle in the third game, delivered again with a 9-pointer, who actually I did leave my captaincy on, and that did work. A really solid option, in my opinion, Kvaratskhelia. Really impressed so far. Obviously, he does cost a fair chunk at 9.2 million. However, and I said you're not going to get scouting bonus again at 31.7% owned. But yeah, a really tidy option. Kvaratskhelia probably will be the captaincy option when PSG play. One thing to bear in mind, though, I haven't currently got Ousmane Dembele in this draft. If we do get an inkling that he will start, I will probably find a way to get him in. That might be dropping Nuno Mendes and going to Pacho in the back, something like that. But I will find a way to get to Ousmane Dembele if I can, obviously, if he is starting, because I think he is their main man, really. Anyway, moving on to my next midfielder. As I said, knowing that I'm not getting Dembele, there's only one other option from PSG. As I said, I do want FOUR PSG against that Inter Miami team, and that is, of course, Desiree Dway. Yeah, he hasn't lit up the tournament so far, like I think a lot of people expected him to do. He's been the sort of the assister of the assister a lot of the times when I've watched PSG. But we know what he's capable of. I mean, we look at what he did in the Champions League final. Look what he's done religiously in Ligue 1 this season. He's a fantastic footballer, and the returns, in my opinion, will come. And this is a really good chance for it to do so. And as I said, against Inter Miami, I think the best part of Inter Miami is obviously their attack with the likes of Suarez and Messi. So really good in this next round, a really good game to target. Also, he's going to get scouting bonus as well. Another thing to mention with Dway as well is in the most recent game that they played, he did actually get 5 tackles to get him an extra 2 points. So he did get 5 points overall. So again, another reason to select Desiree Dway, another strong option in my opinion. The next midfielder I'm going with is Enzo Fernandez. I do think he's probably the star at the moment of the Chelsea team. Plays Benfica, plays against his former club, which when talking to a Chelsea fan, Tom, of course, he suggested that would be a bit of a motivation, let's say, for Enzo Fernandez. But he's also lit up the tournament. He's been fantastic. 2 assists in the most recent game. And probably the pick right now. And as well, the main thing with Enzo Fernandez that I really like is the price point. Only 6.2 million. So what's that? 3.4 million less than Cole Palmer. So if you do want a bit of Chelsea coverage in the attack, I think a lot of people will go with Enzo Fernandez in there at that 6.2 million price point. Really nice option, in my opinion. The final one, and this is a very rogue pick, a very rogue pick indeed. And people are going to question why I've got Matheus Nunes. There's a few reasons for this. Number one, he will start a right back because of course, Rico Lewis is injured, so he will not play that first game. The second reason is, to be honest, he's 4.9 million. So to get a bit of City coverage, where I expect them to go through this game, I expect them to get to the next round, I'm instantly going to get potentially a clean sheet point. I'm instantly going to get 2 scouting points. He's currently, as well, at 1.8% ownership. So I might even get 2 points for a scouting bonus, as well as my qualification bonus, as well as my clean sheet. So that's 5 points. And then obviously he only needs to get 2 points. Then he'll get 2 points, obviously, for playing as well. So that's 7 points, really, without doing that much. Also, he did get 3 tackles in the most recent game as well to get another point. So I think it's a really good way to get, for someone at 4.9 million, it's a really easy and sort of, not confirmed, but I think, a relatively safe pick to get to the sort of 5+ points in this game for Nuno Mendes, which for Mateus Nunes, and I just think to get a bit of City coverage in again to keep, because they'll get through the next round, and I'm conscious that if some of these players that go out, I don't expect go out, I need to have players that are going to play in the next round. So yeah, I Mateus Nunes at that price point, 4.9 million, will start with Rico Lewis out. Provided 2 assists against Juventus as well, so he does have that attacking threat. Also, I believe got an assist in the first game as well. So yeah, I think that is my reasoning for him. Bit of a real people, as I said, tackle option, scouting bonus option, qualification bonus option. Obviously, will play as well. It's an easy way to 5 or 6 points or 7 points if you do need them. And some of my teams, when I've ended up with players on 1 and 2 points, is trying to avoid that in the knockouts, which is why I've gone with Mateus Nunes. Up front then, anyway, I have gone with, when we get onto strikers, I've gone with, where is the first man? Erling Harland. Again, more Man City coverage. Less of a rogue pick, obviously, than Mateus Nunes. A really, really solid pick, Erling Haaland, in my opinion. We're starting to see that upside, I think, from him. Should have had an assist yesterday. It was very unlucky not to get assist. Did score. He's the talisman for Man City still. I do think he's been nicely rested in the group stage as well, which will help him coming into the knockout games. So yeah. Obviously an obvious pick, really nice fixtures up to the final. Al Hilal in the first game, who have been quite solid defensively. I think 2 clean sheets in the first 3, and obviously only conceded 1 against Real Madrid. But I do think he will be a good pick long term. So, and I also think he justifies the price point at 11 million, but he's expensive. Also, as well, he's another good captaincy option as well, because without Harland, I don't actually have a captaincy option with City, because as good as I've rated about Mateus Nunes, I'm not sure he's a captaincy option. Anyway, my next forward is another premium, and that is Harry Kane. He hasn't lit the tournament up, to be fair, like I probably expected he would. Obviously famously blanked in that first game against Auckland, but was better in the second game against Benfica, getting 10 points. And yeah, he's not had the worldly campaign. Obviously, only got 1 point only got 1 point as well in the third game. But overall, has had I think will come good. Also, the other thing with Bayern Munich is I think there's a lot of potential rotation in that Bayern Munich team, especially in defence. So I've not gone with loads of defenders, but I think Kane and Eliseu are pretty nailed. And also Kane's on penalties as well, which is always a sort of a cheat code for fantasy games. So yeah, Harry Kane gets the pick there. Pretty good fixture this week. Obviously, PSG in this next round might be quite difficult, but again, there's an option that he could score for sure. And the final pick I am going with is Liam Dilap. Yeah, he's the final Chelsea player I'm going with. I've got 3 Chelsea actually with Sanchez. 2 Chelsea attacking options. Not quite going to get scouting bonus, I don't think, at 6.5, but he might drop. You never know. But the thing I like about Dilap is getting to that Chelsea front line for £6 million or $6 million like it is in this game just seems like an absolute bargain. Yeah, a real bargain pick in my opinion, but also someone with really good upside as well. We've already seen when he started, obviously in the most recent game, he did actually score. Got an assist when he came off the bench in the first game as well. I do think the upside is there with Dilap. When Chelsea are playing, I think a lot of people will captain Enzo Fernandez. I will probably captain Liam Dilap in truth. I think he's the best of the picks. So yeah, that is who I'm selecting as my final pick. The only thing to mention with this draft is that there's nothing in the bank at all. So if you did want any other picks, you can't do it. I wouldn't mind Sommer in goal. I think I'd maybe try to find a way to get from Sanchez to Sommer. But I can't quite afford it at the moment. But yeah, that is my draft. Very happy with it. So I'm actually going to save that through. I'm not on this account. I'm not. But yeah, let's have a look at captaincy then. So the way captaincy would work for me on this would be, I would expect my first game, I would probably go and captain Liam Dilap. Obviously, I don't have anyone from Palmeiras or Botafogo, so I can't go there. So Liam Dilap, my first captain. It will probably be Harry Kane, my second captain. Let me check when each of these play. No, it'll be Kvaratskhelia, second captain. Then Harry Kane, third captain. Then Darmian, fourth captain. Don't think I'm going to expect loads there, to be honest with you. Then Harland would be my fifth captain. If I get this far, hopefully I don't. And then obviously Svensson as my sixth captain, if we do all get the way there. In terms of captain, I stopped on Kvaratskhelia at 9 points last game. I probably do play it quite safe. That did work. It's not always going to work. It just depends what I expect from the fixtures. I think if in the first game, if Liam Delap gets 2 goal contributions, I probably will leave the captaincy on him. But yeah, that is my team. I hope you've enjoyed it, as always. And yeah, thanks for watching. As I said, check out Fantasy Football Scout for every sort of bit of knowledge you need to know about the Club World Cup. And also, as I said, if you got this far, you must have enjoyed the video, so please give it a like and subscribe. But thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one, everybody. Bye for now.